Hi folks, this is Jay. Hope you're okay today. It's good to see you. I'm just making a response to AronRa. Apparently, you've written a page and you've written some words about me, and it's quite a lengthy little post that you've done. And my response to what you've said is, I just think you're very, very arrogant, AronRa. I think you're really, really arrogant. And I think you're pompous. I think you've got too much self-importance. And I think you lack real education and real culture, mate. You see, for me, I've got no problem with atheists. I've got all the time in the world for atheists. I really have. I do street preaching and I meet atheists, especially young atheists, and they argue with me, and I've got all the time in the world for them. But I've got very little time for people like you, AronRa, and the new atheism. I think the new atheism is intellectually dishonest. I think the new atheism is aggressive. And I think the new atheism is a very, very dangerous movement because it's causing massive division in society. And you're demonising people in a way that is not right. Because at the end of the day, we should be able, as atheists and Christians, there's a guy who's come on my show. He's called, I won't name his name, but begins with L. And he came on my show the other day, AronRa, and he's an atheist. He's Irish. Right like that. Just within 2 minutes, mate. I could tell I could talk to this guy. I could go and have a beer with him in a pub. We could argue about atheism and Christianity, but at the end of the day, we'd still be friends. And that's what I think it's all about at the end of the day. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. It's about being friends. Whether you're atheist or Christian, we should be friends. And I just feel this new atheism is creating a bitter, acrimonious spirit. And I don't want to get into that. I don't want to get into that, AronRa. I just don't want to do it, mate. You know, I think your comments are really, really arrogant. That you've made. I mean, I've said things, but it's only tongue in cheek. I'm only messing. But when you say it, you really mean it. When you say that you want to teach me a lesson and educate me and stuff like that, I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to learn from anybody. But it works both ways, AronRa. If we're not willing to listen to each other and have proper discussion and respect each other, then whoever's doing the animosity, they've lost the debate before it even begins. You said you're getting complaints from your peers for even talking to me. Right. So you'd rather talk to a girl who didn't really know anything about the Bible, but a minister of the gospel who has a BA degree and has done an MA level in theology. Your peers wouldn't rather you talk to that person, but they would rather you talk to a girl who didn't know anything about the Bible. And of course they'd rather have 4 of you gang up on her, but they wouldn't like you to have a debate with one-on-one with me. I see the logic of that, AronRa. I get that. It's called, you can't really handle, as new atheists, people who really will scrutinise you. I admit, I'm just an old-time preacher, mate. I've preached to many, many churches and many, many Christians and non-Christians. And I preach many hundreds of sermons. And deep down, I'm just an old-fashioned preacher. But I do have an inkling for ideas, the history of ideas. I have written books, I have written novels and plays. I have had a couple of plays done in Manchester. I have done MA level and specialised in postmodern philosophy. So we're not all gifted at different things. I'm nowhere near scientifically minded like you are, but I am philosophically minded. And I know my subjects really well. And you don't know anything about theology. You don't know anything about the resurrection of Christ and the scholarship behind that. You don't know anything about it, AronRa. You know very, very little about that. Whereas I know all the scholarship that's needed to understand that topic and more. And that's the area where I would be bringing to debate you. I would be bringing about the resurrection of Christ. And you wouldn't even begin to be able to deal with the scholarship concerning that subject, mate. You might know loads about evolution, but you don't know anything about N.T. Wright or Dr. Balcom or even your own people, Richard Carrier or Dr. Price. I read these people every day nearly, and I'm in these things all the time. So I just think you're being really, really arrogant and really, really disrespectful, and that's caused me to treat you in a disrespectful way when I don't want to. When you compare me to debating a cripple or beating up on a cripple, I'm sorry, but I think that basically, AronRa, you need to step back. You need to ask this question: why am I doing what I'm doing? Am I doing it for truth or not? And you've got to look at me and you say, Jason is a human being. He has dignity. He has a qualification in theology. He wants an academic debate with me on the resurrection of Christ. And I'll treat him with respect, and I'll do that. Okay. Some of the videos in the past, I've made some silly videos. But that's me. I can be silly, but I can be very serious as well. I don't take myself too seriously, because I know when you're good at something, you don't have to take yourself seriously. The best barristers, the best doctors, the best at what they do, they don't take themselves seriously. It's only those people who are not the best present themselves as serious. That's the truth. And I don't take myself too seriously, but I know when it comes to theology, AronRa, I'm the best of the best. I really am. I have been to Edinburgh and sat under very, very famous theologians. I have engaged in not one seminary, not two seminary, but a number of theological seminaries that have been connected to secular universities. Alright? So I know my terrain and I know my subject. And I know that if an atheist community gave me a chance to have an academic debate, you would not stand a chance. Not when it's on my turf, on my subject. You would not have a chance, mate. I'm not going to go on your forum and make some comments and then you take this attitude where you think you're going to teach me a lesson. It ain't gonna happen, mate. It ain't gonna happen. If you really seek truth and you really want truth, you get in contact with me and you'll organise an academic debate. It can be in 6 months' time. If you're very busy, 6 months' time, a year's time, that's okay. If you don't think I'm important enough to do that, then that's okay, AronRa. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, mate. Just go and enjoy your life. It's no skin off my nose, okay? But I know this. I won't be having a show where I get one atheist on and we have 4 Christians and we rip into that atheist and we destroy that atheist. I'll not be doing any shows like that, mate. That's the kind of shows that you're on and that you do. I won't be ignoring academic discussion and debate. I've had 3 shows recently and I've let atheists on and I've been outnumbered with those atheists. You don't do that your way as atheists on your shows. You outnumber the Christians. You make sure you outnumber them. I'm committed to the Christian faith. I'm committed to the gospel. I don't think you have a clue what you're talking about when you talk about Christianity, AronRa. I really don't. You haven't really studied Christianity. You don't even know Christian theology. You might know quite a bit about science in your field of evolution, but you've got absolutely no clue when it comes to theology. That's a fact. When you commentated on Luther, well, hey, here's the man for Luther. I was studying at MA level. I worked on Luther for about 6 months. I read tons of his stuff. I read his commentaries. I read nearly everything you could get on Luther. I'm the man to talk to about Luther. You're not the man to talk to about Luther, mate. Alright? So I'm not bothered, mate. The ball's in your court. If you want serious academic weight to come your way in defending the resurrection of Christ, then you can organise a debate through DPR Jones, and I'll do it. I'll come and I'll give you a proper academic debate and discussion. If you're not willing to do that, no worries. It's no skin off my nose, okay? I'm just going to tell you what I believe. I believe Jesus Christ is the Son of God. I believe He died on the cross for my sin, and I believe He rose again. I believe that atheism doesn't make sense of the world. I believe atheism hasn't got anything to offer. The reason why atheism hasn't got anything to offer is it's rooted in nature. And nature doesn't tell us about morality, it doesn't tell us about the meaning of life, and it doesn't tell us about rationality. So in other words, the whole system of atheism has faulty foundations. It doesn't tell us the meaning of life, it doesn't tell us anything. And so you have to take the Christian worldview if you're going to begin to think about the world, to understand about the world, to understand about rationality and reason, to understand about morality, to understand about the meaning of history, etc. But more importantly, the reason why I'm a Christian is because of Christ. Because at the end of the day, there is no person in history who lived like Him or who taught like Him, AronRa. And the more I get to know Him, the more I love Him. It's not an airy-fairy thing, it's rooted in real history, in real time, that you can go and study. Paul said, I'm not ashamed of the gospel of Christ. And I'm not ashamed, AronRa. I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed, mate. Sorry, I've not been well for a week. So it's up to you. If you think you're going to pull me into a dogfight on your forum, I'm sorry, I'm a better man than that. I suspect that because I'm not famous or because I don't have any kudos or whatever, I suspect that it's not in your interest to debate me in any academic way. And I understand that. And that's okay by me. And that's okay. And I wish you all the best. But just remember that you have your gifts and talents in this world. And you were gifted in your area. But I'm gifted in my area. But you as atheists have never had an opportunity to see how gifted I am. Alright? Because you've never, as an atheist community, you've never ever as an atheist community played fair with me. And that's a fact. So that's it really. So just have a good time. Wish you and your family all the best. You and DPR Jones are welcome to phone me on Skype and talk. If you ever want to just chat generally, you're welcome to do that. I will be praying for you. I will be praying for DPR Jones and the atheist community. And I understand I've been a pain to you and some of the atheists on YouTube. But I honestly wouldn't have bothered with atheism if it weren't for these kind of underhanded tactics that you do. If you didn't gang up on a girl 4-on-1 and do things like that, if DPR Jones wouldn't phone somebody's work to complain about them, a Christian healer, if you as atheist didn't do those kind of things, then I wouldn't have been making videos against you. It's only until you start to do things in a proper way but you're never going to change. You're always going to be like that. And it's not for me. I've told DPR Jones this. It's not me. I don't get peace about this. It's not me. I'm just an old-time preacher. You know, the Billy Graham style preacher. That's all I am at the end of the day. And it's not me. And I want to get on preaching the gospel. I want to get on studying the Word of God, preaching the gospel. I want to get on writing. I love to write, and there's a lot of things I want to write. I want to preach in Manchester. I want to get this church planted. These are the things I want to do. I don't want to be fighting with atheists. That's what I want to do. But I have a little community of atheists who have gathered round me and kind of got to know me, and they even know me better than me. And so from time to time I'll be making videos for them and just touching base for them because I feel I owe it to them. But generally I don't want to get into this dogfighting with atheists. That's where I am, AronRa. I'm a very, very happy man. I'm really, really happy. I'm happy in Jesus. And I'm the most happiest I've ever been in my life. And I'm excited about the future. I'm really, really excited. And there's only one J, AronRa. And there's only one AronRa. So take care, mate. And I wish you all the best. And if you ever want to take things further, just call me up. My Skype's jason.burns107. If you ever want to ring me on Skype, you and DPR Jones, just for a chat, you're welcome to do that. And wish you all the best. Take care now. Love to DPR Jones. And love to all atheist folks out there, and to Christian friends and everybody. Just wish you all the best, really. Don't forget those words. I'm not ashamed of the gospel of Christ. I'm not ashamed. And it's just amazing to know Christ. Take care. God bless.